I look at punk as something explosive, something that defies boundaries and something questions itself, first of all, and then questions others as well. It's something about blowing up status quo. It's something that's always evolving, and in that way, punk can't be just one single thing. Like, you can't just have Mohawk and say you're punk, because naturally punk has to evolve, and what punk today is very different from what punk is yesterday. So also, if you follow my so-called definition, then inevitably punk will be a different thing for all of us. Well, let me tell you about the other night. We came to an awesome punk show which really changed my view of Los Angeles. I thought I hate the city, because it's a city that makes you feel always inadequate, because everyone has to put up a face like, I'm doing good, I'm doing awesome, I'm glamorous, I'm succeeding, and like if you're, I think that most of us deep inside feel like it's total bullshit. Like we're all going through a tough time, and a lot of people in Los Angeles did go through a tough time. LA fires and, well, just generally political situation, economic instability, and yet we have to be glamorous. So I went to a show that was nothing but glamorous, or glamorous in a very different way. I got invited by Roger Gastman, who is head of Beyond the Streets Gallery, and he's going to do a show with, like an art show with Dead City Punks, collective that became very popular in Los Angeles during the COVID. So it was impossible to have shows during COVID, and kids are still kids, they still wanted to come together, so they started to come together for illegal shows. And it would be thousands and thousands of kids somewhere under the bridge in Frogtown being shot by rubber bullets, and still these guys would be so punk, they would not stop playing with rubber bullets flying in their guitar, bumping into their drums, bumping into their body. They would still continue playing, and then anyway, so that's what I got to witness somewhere in LA, in downtown. And I felt like this spirit is something that is very dear and important to my heart, because this is something that can actually bring, being proverbial young kids on the side of democracy, on the side of anti-MAGA, on the side of our side. Because, like, look, if you're just gonna be boring and like following all the rules and just try to be safe, and even safer and unsafe once again, and like try not to offend anyone, I think kids are gonna be voting for Trump. I'm just really sorry to say that, but so I'm voting for Dead City Punks for president. It's just being counterculture, and being counterculture has to be fun, it has to be joyous, it has to be mischievous. I lost touch a lot with modern counterculture because it became safe in a way, and maybe I'm a little bit too much for some people as well, but yeah, there are still really radical people, and I think that's the future. I mean, like, if you think about 1968, if you think about rallies that were going, I mean, people were fucking on the street, like why not? Why don't do it again?
There we go. Culture shock. You're speaking of culture shock coming to LA. Have you felt that way? I don't know, I guess one thing that I noted in the story that I wrote for the New York Times is that you talk about geo-anonymity, that you don't belong to any one location now. Instead, you are Russian still, and that's one way of kind of asserting asserting that you really do belong to Russia, even if Russia doesn't belong to you in a way, if that makes sense. And it's also to say that you haven't settled elsewhere, that there is no other home for you, right? Talk to me a little bit about that. What geo-anonymity means and culture shock of being in LA.
My wish for anonymity, when me and my friend Kat started Pussy Riot, it was a group of women with no faces, with no biographies, or rather with invented biographies, with invented names. And to mess things even further, we would exchange our names, so nobody could say, oh, Turia has this voice, she has this color of hair, she has this color of eyes. We would always rotate our names as well.
And the balaclavas serve the same purpose.
Same purpose, and also changing the balaclavas from performance to performance. And then I ended up in jail. It was very difficult to maintain anonymity there. They kind of start every court hearing from, tell us who you are, and then you have to. And I just want to maintain at least something. I really love people, artists like Banksy or Daft Punk. I think there is a lot of power in anonymity. We, especially in modern culture, that is a little bit, I mean, I don't know, maybe humans were always like that. Like, we like gossip, we like talking about people's personal lives, but I feel like if you're an artist, it doesn't really matter in a lot of situations. Or, like, personally, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I'm an exhibitionist on one side, but I want to release only the information that I want to release. So I think geo-anonymity and also putting a mask on was a part of this strategy. One of my biggest problems, as I thought, like one of my biggest pain points, was that I don't have a camera with me at the court hearings, at during the entire time of my prison sentence. So I think partly my project at Mocha is answering this question, and I'm documenting shit out of it. I have 4 security cameras in my prison cell, and we are gathering religiously every bit of this footage. So I was so sad that cops they will never give me the footage from all the security cameras from jails and courtrooms that I went through. More than that, they took away my footage that I carefully collected, years after years of all, like, my archives, my activist practice, my art practice. They took it all away, never gave back to me. So I think, like, what we are doing in Mocha, like, really carefully documenting every single beat is an attempt to heal this wound. And I'm going to show on one of the screens the original footage from Russian prisons, not mine, but something that I found an activist group called Gulagu Net, No to Gulag, just releases hours and hours worth of footage from security cameras in jails, and I'm going to show it to people. You can come anytime, really, from June 5th to June 14th. Those are the days of durational performance, and it's the first durational performance I ever do, I think partly because we just got to hang out so much with Marina Abramovic and talk a lot about her durational performance pieces. So I thought about different ways of how to bring this tension into the gallery, into museum space, because of course I'm missing it. I mean, like, once a cop pulls you by your leg, you're gonna miss it. I mean, it's like a love-hate relationship. It's fun. It's you realize that you hit the nerve of someone, of the government, of the police state, if that happens. And obviously it's a thrill, obviously it's an adrenaline. I don't like to jump with, like, whatever, parachute, that type of thing. I don't love that, but I love the adrenaline of hitting the oppressor in their balls. So how do I recreate this tension in Mocha, which is a quite safe environment? And I think exposing my body to being thrown in jail cell again, but also adding an additional layer of, it's going to be quite challenging. I put a serious pressure I would have to on myself. I would have to create music at all times while I'm sitting in the jail cell. I've prepared some paints and brushes, so I'm going to be producing as I'm sitting in the cell. And in the end, it will be this radical, non-commercial record that we are going to put out. So this thing, the police state, will become bigger than Los Angeles, and people from all around the world are going to be able to listen to it. Will they want to listen to it? I don't think so, but they will be able to. It's a little bit like early Pussy Riot music. Do people want to listen to that? Not really, but it exists. And it makes a point. You know, I'm being banned from Instagram for words like abortion or resistance or politics or Putin or, posting pictures from Ukraine of like actually things that are happening, things, the buildings blowing up, people's heads blowing up. It's hard, but maybe partly that's why I went into this like almost refuge in this ancient form of art, of object making, because it's not as satisfying anymore as it used to be 15 years ago to do internet activism.